So, Swiflearn, as you already know by now, that it is the India's most sincere learning destination for classes 1 to 10, right? So, over here, all the classes are 100% live and interactive classes. So, in the classes, you can ask any sort of question related to the topic. You can ask any sort of doubt or confusion about the topic to this teacher, and the teacher explains everything together in the classes only. Fine. Secondly, we give personalized attention to each and every students in our batches, because our batches consist of maximum number of 6 students, which help us to give an eye or put an eye or focus on each and every student's progress, as well as the student can ask any sort of doubt in the classes only. Yeah. Now, coming to the third thing which we have a very good dedicated academic mentor team who continuously track and work on the students' progress. So, what do? They find out whatever wherever the students are lagging, where the students are, whether they are doing the homework properly or not, how they're performing in the classes, and accordingly you will get the feedback so that you will be able to improve yourself, right? And fourthly, which is very important, that we cover all the syllabus as per your school examination schedule. So whatever chapter you have in your examination, you can see, and we will do those chapters first, and then we will move on to the rest of the chapters. So this type of custom request we generally handle. So these are the general features of Swiflearn, and now let us move on to the key features. Hi, Mani. How are you? Okay, so let us move on to the key features. As you already know that we maintain a detailed progress report where you will be able to find out where how you are doing in the class, how you are performing in the homework, as well as how you are doing in the different test series, how you were writing the answers. Everything is there in the progress report, and you will get it in the different time intervals so that you will be able to improve yourself, right? Secondly, we have the Swiflearn academic test series, which in short we call it as the SATs, where you will be able to perform and will be able to understand where you are ranking internationally, right? Thirdly, you can take unlimited practice test after completing each and every topic of the different subjects, so that it will help you to practice the chapters or practice the topics again and again, and as well as you will all the concepts will be totally clear in your mind, right? So you can take unlimited practice tests, which will include the different types of question. Yes, hi Mani, I'm good, thank you. Okay, so the different types of questions generally include the objectives as well as the subjective. So in case of the objective question, you will find the true false, filling the blanks, MCQs, match the column, okay, or one word answer sometimes. So you can practice all sorts of questions, as well as for your school examination as well as the board examination, which is also very important to write down, because sometimes you have the concept but you cannot write the proper answer and you lose marks, right? So this is because you are not writing the main points or the key words of the answer in the definition, or any sort of broad questions, right? So you can practice all this them, and you will be able to, like, uh, give the diagrams or the graph and everything. Over here we have a very good uh, teacher team who will be able to check their your answers, and they will give you the feedback, right? So accordingly we will progress together. So please book a free trial class so that you can experience all these features of Swiflearn and stay with us and learn with us, right? So what you have to do, as you have already subscribed our channel, I know, and whoever has not subscribed the channel, I'm telling you, for them, so please subscribe our channel in YouTube and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any sort of update of the upcoming sessions, right? So please stay with Swiflearn, stay with us and learn with us, and please like, comment and share with all your friends and the family members. Okay, now let us move on to the topic. So as you already know that we were doing the topic of reaching the age of adolescence, which we have completed the first and the second session yesterday. So we will do the third session, right? So over here we will mainly focus on the different types of hormones other than the sex hormones, because we have already discussed about the sex hormones, or the explanation of the sex hormones were already there in the previous session. Hi, good morning, Vinod. How are you? Okay, so the other hormones which are secreted by the different glands of our endocrine system we will study today mainly. Then we will move on to the hormones of the different other animals, whether only humans produce the hormone or the other animals also have the hormone, or they also have the different type of gland which produce the hormone. We will mainly see them, and then we will move on to the reproductive health, right? Which we should maintain. Okay. Okay, you are the Swiflearn student. Very good, very good. Hi, Abhishek. Okay. Now let us move on to the different types of glands. So previously, like in that previous session, we have already studied about the testis and the ovary. These are the two types of mixed glands, right? So these are the glands which are mainly secreting the sex hormones, like the estrogen is secreted from the ovary and testosterone is secreted from the testis. Now, we have already studied about their function and where they are present in the previous session. So, in today's session, we will study about the other glands, right? So, as you already know that by now that we have the different types of glands, I have already mentioned it in the previous session that the three main types of glands are the exocrine gland, endocrine glands, and the mixed gland, right? Okay, so the exocrine gland, endocrine gland, and the mixed gland we have already studied. These are the three main types of glands in our body. Now, exocrine gland generally secrete the enzymes, the different enzymes, and they are the glands which have ducts, right? So mainly we will not focus on the exocrine gland in this chapter. For example, we can say the salivary gland, sweat gland, sebaceous gland. These are tear glands in our eyes. So these are all the glands which are having the ducts, and these are coming under the category of exocrine gland. Now let us move on to the endocrine gland. Endocrine gland mainly secrete the hormones, okay, which we will study mainly in this chapter. Fine. So these are the glands which are not having the duct, so we can say that these are the ductless gland, and they pour their secretion directly into the bloodstream, right? And the bloodstream will flow through the capillaries, through the arteries, veins, and the capillaries, we can say in short the blood vessels, and go to the different parts of our body, and they will do their particular function, right? Now coming to the mixed gland, which secrete both the enzymes as well as the hormones. Okay, so these are the glands which mainly secrete both the enzyme and the hormone, because this type of gland have both the portions within them. Okay, so what are the both the portions? Some portion are duct wala portion and some portions are without duct portion, right? So the duct portion will secrete the different types of enzymes, and the ductless portion will secrete the various types of hormones, right? So these are the main function of the mixed gland, and we have already studied about the different examples of the mixed gland. What are they? Do you remember? Pancreas, testis, and ovary. So we have already studied about the testis and ovary in the previous session. So today mainly we will focus on the pancreas and the different like hormones which are secreted mainly from the other different endocrine glands, right? So now let us move on to the very first endocrine gland, which is the pituitary gland. Okay. Yes, Abhishek, hormones meet, which hormone meant to give birth to the child? Okay, so generally, the hormone which is secreted from the mother's body at that time, it is a mixture of like the progesterone as well as the oxytocin also help in giving the birth to the child. Okay, yes. Okay, now let us focus on the Pituitary gland. So as I have already mentioned in the previous session that the pituitary gland is also known as the master gland. And why it is known as the master gland? Because it control all the other different hormonal glands. So whatever glands are present in our body, whether it is the thyroid gland or the adrenal gland or the testis or the ovary, these all glands, these all endocrine glands are mainly controlled by the pituitary gland, and that is why we known this pituitary gland is known as the master gland. So this is a very important question which you can get for 1 or 2 marks, that which gland is known as the master gland and why. Okay, so what you have to write, that pituitary gland is known as the master gland because it control the functioning of all the other endocrine glands in our body. Right? Clear, eh? Okay. So we have already studied about the testis and the ovary, right? So what are the different other glands which are also controlled by the pituitary gland? Is there any answer? It controls all other glands. Very good, Margaret. Yes, very good. So can you tell me what are the other names of the glands which are controlled by the pituitary gland other than this testis and ovary? Yeah. Let me see who can give me the correct answer in the chat box. And like you were watching this video, please subscribe the our YouTube channel, okay, and press on the bell icon so that you will never miss any of the upcoming classes. Okay, I think you are all doing this, right? Yes. Okay, so the other different glands which are also controlled by the pituitary are the adrenal gland, right? We can say the thyroid gland, yes, and also the different types of hormones which are present, which are secreted from the pituitary gland are the growth hormone, okay, follicle stimulating hormone, which is stimulating the different testis and ovary, okay. Then the different types of trophic hormone, we can say, right, together whatever hormone is secreted from the pituitary gland, we call them together as the trophic hormones, right? So I have already mentioned where the pituitary gland is present in the previous session, so let me tell you again that pituitary gland is present just beneath the brain, right? So there is a stalk in between the brain and the pituitary gland which actually connect the pituitary gland with the help of the brain, okay. So over here, the hypothalamus of the brain is present also, which is also very much important for maintaining the secretion of the different glands or the secretion of the different hormones. And then just beneath the hypothalamus, we will find the pituitary gland, which is known as the master gland. The two main females, yes, money. Estrogen, progesterone, very good. Although testosterone is considered as the male hormone, female also produce and need a small amount of this too. Avishek, your answer, yes, yes, ma'am, exactly. Now, coming to the different other hormones, and that is the pituitary gland is also there and the thyroid gland, which is present just in the two sides of the windpipe. Okay, just beneath it in the thoracic cavity, we can find the thymus gland, which is a very short gland and it is a little bit larger in case of the babies. But when we grow, gradually it decreases in size, right? Then we will move on to the pancreas, which is present just at the just we can say above the stomach, okay, in the abdominal cavity. It is very much specific about it. Then we can find the adrenal glands, which are present just above the kidney. We can see a cap like structure which is present on the both the kidneys. These are the adrenal glands. And there are the glands we can find in the human being, mainly in case of the male there is the testis, okay, one pair of testis, and in case of the female one pair of ovary is present, right? So these are the different glands which are present over here. Okay. Chalo. So let us now begin with the very first gland of the endocrine system, which is the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland, which I have already said where it is located or where it is present. It is present just in the two sides of the windpipe, right? And the main hormone which is secreted from the thyroid gland is thyroxine. Okay, thyroxine is the hormone which contain the iodine. Okay, so any sort of iodine deficiency diet, if we like if we take and our diet is not having the proper amount of iodine in it, then what will happen, it can affect the secretion of the thyroxine and we can get the different types of diseases, right? So what type of diseases can we get? We can get the goiter. Okay, so goiter is the disease which occur if the thyroid gland stop the secretion of the thyroxine. So other than goiter, do you know any other diseases which can take place due to the less secretion of the thyroid gland? Yes. Any other diseases which can be caused in our body due to less secretion of thyroid gland other than this goiter? Yes, we can have the cretinism. Okay, generally it occurs in the infants. Fine. So infants can get this cretinism where their development will not be proper, as well as they results in the mental retardation. Okay, so this is the another disease, and the second disease will be your mixed edema. Again, the retardation of the development, growth and development, and the different types of mental retardation, intellectual problems happen, which takes place mainly in the adults. Okay, so just remember the name of the diseases which can occur due to the less secretion of the thyroid gland, or we can say because of the thyroxine is not secreted properly. So we can get the goiter, secondly cretinism, and thirdly the myxedema. So these are the different diseases which can occur. Okay, now let us move on to the pancreas, that is the gland which is present in the abdominal cavity. So pancreas, as I have already said, that the pancreas is a mixed gland. Okay, so pancreas is a mixed gland means it have both the two uh, portions in the organ, right? It has the exocrine portion as well as the endocrine portion, right? The exocrine portion will secrete the various types of digestive enzymes, obviously, and which will help in the process of digestion. And mainly we will focus on the endocrine portion, which we call it as the islet of Langerhans. Okay, so the islet of Langerhans is the portion, the endocrine portion of the pancreas, which have the various types of cells. Okay, so the different types of cells are alpha, beta, delta. Okay, most important types of cells. So these cells actually secrete the various types of hormone, like the alpha cells generally secrete the hormone glucagon. Okay, the beta cells generally secrete the hormone insulin, which is the main hormone we can see over here, right? The pancreas secrete the insulin, which help to maintain the blood sugar level in our body. Okay, and the delta cell helps to secrete the somatostatin. Clear hai? So up to this much clear, I guess, what is the pancreas, where it is present, and what are the different types of cells which are present within them, and which cell generally is secreting which type of hormone. So as we have already said that we will mainly focus on the insulin over here, because this is the main hormone which is secreted by the pancreas. So what is the insulin? It is the hormone which help to maintain the blood sugar level in our body, right? It helps to decrease the blood sugar in our body. Okay, whenever there is more intake of the sugar which can come to the bloodstream, so this insulin secretion actually lowers the secretion of the blood sugar in our blood by intaking it. Okay, so if it fails to produce the insulin, what will happen? Yes, the person will suffer from diabetes. Okay, to be very specific, the person will suffer from diabetes mellitus. It is known as, the whole condition is known as the diabetes mellitus. So if anybody is having the diabetes, so please take a proper treatment, either taking off the insulin through syringe or injection we generally see that the patients suffering from diabetes is taking, as well as taking the medicine properly, right? Because our blood sugar should be under very much control, and obviously all the different things whichever is present within our body, they should be in a normal range. More of anything is also not good for our health, and less of anything is also not good for our health, right? So these are the main things which we have to keep it in mind, right? Oh, to the another gland, that is the adrenal gland. So as I have already said that the adrenal gland is present as the cap of the kidney, right? In both the kidney, at the head of the kidney, the adrenal glands are present, right? So this you can see the shape of the gland, which is a triangular shaped, and if you just magnify this gland, you will find this type of gland which is triangular in shape and having the two main portion. So the outermost portion of this gland is known as the cortex, and the innermost portion of the gland is known as the medulla. Okay, so the cortex and the medulla actually secrete the various types of hormones. Like the cortex actually secrete the different cortisone, corticotrophic hormone. Okay, not corticotrophic hormone, it is stimulated by the corticotrophic hormone, which is coming from the pituitary gland, and is secrete the glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and cortisone. These are the different hormones which are mainly secreted from the cortex region of this adrenal gland. And what is the function of the medulla portion? Medulla actually secrete the main hormone which is known as the adrenaline, or it has another name. It has another name, that is epinephrine. Okay, this is the hormone which is secreted from the medulla portion of the adrenal gland, and these are also known as the emergency hormone. So now we will mainly tell you why it is known as the emergency hormone. Do you have any idea, or can you get it from the name, like why it is known as the emergency hormone? Yeah. Yes. Any idea? Yes, Mani. Yes, Abhishek, Margaret, Vinod. Are you all there? Yes. Can you tell me why this epinephrine is known as the emergency hormone, which is secreted from the medulla portion of the adrenal gland? Yes. Okay, so it is known as the emergency hormone because it helps us, our body, to fight out any of the emergency situation. What can be the emergency situation? It can be the stress, it can be the anxiety, it can be sometimes you can feel like embarrassing, sometimes worried about anything, sometimes very angry about anything. Sometimes when you go to the school examination, right? It is any sort of examination, which subject you do not like that much, and that is why there is a tension in you. Okay, so in that situation what will happen, there is the hormone which is secreted from the body to cope up with that situation, right? To fight out the situation, and this hormone is known as the emergency hormone, which is secreted from the adrenal medulla. Okay, so this is the adrenaline, which is known as the emergency hormone. It has another name. Do you know another name of this hormone? We can also call it as the fight or flight hormone. Okay, which help us to fight with the situation, with the emergency situation, or flight hormone. Okay, so this adrenal gland has so many names, right? So obviously the biological name, another biological name of this adrenaline is the epinephrine, and also sometimes it is known as the emergency hormone because it is secreted during the emergency situation, emergency condition, so that you can cope up with the situation, as well as it is also known as the fight and flight hormone, right? So up to this much clear about all the different hormones or the different endocrine glands whatever we have discussed: the thyroid gland, pituitary gland, pancreas, and the adrenal gland. Clear hai? If you have any question, please ask me in the chat box. Okay, now the thyroid and the adrenal glands are secreted, their secretion, the different hormones, when they are actually receiving the signal from the pituitary gland. So over here we will see that. let me draw a feedback mechanism system, which you will study in detail in the higher grades. Just let me tell you in short, like how the different glands are stimulated. Okay. So the pituitary gland, as you already know, that which is present just beneath the brain. So this pituitary gland stimulate the different endocrine glands, right? So in case of the thyroid gland, let me take the example of the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland is stimulated by the pituitary gland by the secretion of thyroid stimulating hormone. So the pituitary gland will secrete the thyroid stimulating hormone and poke and stimulate the thyroid gland. अभी hormone secrete करो ज़रूरत है body में. So they will secrete the hormone. What hormone will be secreted by the thyroid gland? Yes? Who can tell me? Let me see. Yes, the thyroxine. Okay, so the thyroxine is the hormone which will be secreted from the thyroid gland. Right? Now they will be secreted, and where will it go? They will not. They are not having any sort of ducts, right? Because they are the endocrine glands. So where they will they grow? They will go directly into the blood vessels. Okay, they will directly pour inside the bloodstream. Now through the bloodstream they will move on and go to the different target organs, right? So they will go to the different target organs and do their activities, right? Mainly we know that the thyroxine helps in the metabolism activities, right? They increase the rate of any sort of activities which we do in day and night, right? So they will help to stimulate the different activities, and whenever the activities will be done, they will be destroyed. Always remember that they didn't never store within our body if their functions are over. Okay, now after their functions are over and it is not needed from in our body, so what will they do? They will give the नेगेटिव फीडबैक कि अभी हो गया आपका काम और नहीं चाहिए हमारे हार्मोन को बॉडी में, अभी आप शांत रहो. So they will give some negative impact or negative feedback to the pituitary gland, who will stop secretion for some time, this TSH, and it will not go to the thyroid also. Another this negative feedback goes to the hypothalamus. It is a part of the brain. Okay, so the hypothalamus also gives the feedback to the pituitary gland whether the hormone is needed in our body or not, according to that. So whenever it is not needed, so they will give the a negative feedback, and whenever it is needed it will give the positive feedback, right? कि अभी हमारे हार्मोन नहीं है बॉडी में बट उसको चाहिए फॉर मेटाबॉलिज्म एंड ऑल, सो दे विल गिव अ पॉजिटिव फीडबैक. दो दो ज्यादा से ज्यादा अभी हार्मोन सिक्रीट करो. तो वो क्या करेंगे? वो पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड को बोलेंगे कि अभी ज्यादा हार्मोन सिक्रीट कर दो भाई, क्योंकि ये नीडेड है. तो द pituitary gland will secrete most of the TSH, and it will give some positive feedback to the thyroid. उसको stimulate करेगा और बोलेंगे कि अभी thyroxine भी secrete करो, क्योंकि बॉडी का emergency situation है, बॉडी में चाहिए, right? So the thyroxine will be secreted and accordingly it will be used up in our body. Okay, it will help to do all the different functions of the body. So this is how the actual endocrine system works in our body in short. So you will study in detail. So I guess you have got an idea what is the role of the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and how the pituitary gland actually stimulates the different types of other endocrine glands, and that is why it is the master gland, and the other endocrine glands actually help to secrete the different hormones, right? Now coming to the other different hormones which are also secreted from the pituitary gland, that is the growth hormone, right? So the growth hormone is secreted, GH is secreted from the pituitary gland, which go to all the parts of the body and helps in the growth and development of the muscles and bones and all, right? Which is necessary for the normal growth of the person. Clear hai? Okay. Now, do the hormones also get produced in the animal body या फिर सिर्फ human body में ही है? Yes. Any idea? Like the other hormones are secreted, or the different types of hormones are also secreted in the other animals, or it is only in the human being? Any idea? Yes, let me see who can give me the answer. It is also secreted from the other animal's body, right? So just think about the metamorphosis. Have you heard of the word metamorphosis? I guess you have heard it, right? The drastic changes of the different forms of the life, right? Yes. So we already know that the rapid change of this larva to adult in case of the different insects, or tadpole to frog in case of the amphibians, the frog, they take place due to the production of the different hormones in their body also. Can you name one hormone which help the frogs to become adult from the tadpole? They are sick from the eggs, they will become the tadpole. Then from the tadpole, they will become the adult. Do you have any idea how they actually become a total adult frog? Any idea? Yes, in their body also thyroxine is secreted. Okay, so the rapid change from one stage to another stage is known as the metamorphosis. This is the process, and the metamorphosis in insect is controlled by the insect hormone also. So in case of the frog, this is the thyroxine which is secreted, and that is why they are very much needed the iodine in water where they are growing. Okay, where the tadpoles are growing, if they do not have the iodine, they will not be able to become the adult. Similarly, in case of the insect, the different insect hormones are secreted. Mainly we can say that the hormones which are secreted in the insect are known as the molting hormones, okay, which help them in the process of metamorphosis. And this molting hormones generally are secreted from the prothoracic gland. These molting hormones are secreted from the prothoracic gland, which are present in the thoracic cavity of the insects, and they help in the process of metamorphosis. Clear hai? So all the different animals are also having their specific hormones which are doing their specific functions, and accordingly they will be able to perform all their specific function as well as the growth and development. Right, so the thyroid gland in the frog, like us, also produce the thyroxine hormone, and this is also helping them in the process of metamorphosis. So metamorphosis in frog is always controlled by the thyroxine, and the thyroxine production requires the presence of the iodine in water. If the iodine is not present in the water wherever the tadpoles are there, then what will happen? The tadpole will not become the adult. Okay, so due to the insufficient amount of iodine in the water bodies where the tadpoles are living, if there is the insufficient amount of iodine, then what will happen? The tadpole will not be converted into the adult frogs. Clear, eh? Up to this much clear, I guess. So have you got an idea, like not only in our body, all the animals are having the different types of hormones in their own, and accordingly they can perform the different activities, right, of the body. Like one of the example is the metamorphosis. Clear, eh? Okay. Now what will happen to our body if we don't take enough iodine in our diet? Have you ever heard of the patients who are advised by the doctors to take more and more iodized salt? Yes. So, what type of patients are generally prescribed with the iodized salt in their diet when we are not having the iodine properly? Yes. Which disease can occur? The goiter. Okay, so it can lead to the goiter caused by the lack of thyroxine. So if the proper iodine is not present in our body, in our food, then our body will not be able to synthesize that much amount of thyroxine from the thyroid gland, and we can suffer from goiter. So in case of the adults, we can suffer from goiter, where we have already seen that the swelling takes place in the thyroid gland, right? In the neck region, the swelling takes place. That is of the goiter. Okay. Other than the goiter, in case of the infants and adults, there are also the different types of different types of diseases like the cretinism and mixed edema. Fine. Now let us move on to the reproductive health. How to maintain the reproductive health mainly in the adolescence period. Okay, so the physical health plus the mental health, both of them are very much important for maintaining a proper individual health. So we can see like that the physically I am totally fit, but mentally I have some tension or the stress for the for anything. It can be for the studies, for the future, for our career, then we are not healthy at all. Okay, so the main three things or the aspects which keep any person fully healthy is the physical health, physical fitness, secondly the mental health, and thirdly the social health. So socially we should also be very much fit, right? So the physical health and mental health, when both of them are together properly there in the body, then we can say that the individual is totally healthy, right? Now, to keep the body healthy, we should maintain certain things. What are the different things we should maintain? The first one is the having balanced diet. What do you mean by balanced diet? Anybody, can you tell me? Yes. What do you mean by balanced diet? We have studied about the food chapter. We have studied about the various types of nutrients which we eat with the help of the food, right? The carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals. So we have already studied about the balanced diet there, right? So what is that? The balanced diet actually is the diet which consists of the proper amount of all the nutrients, whether the nutrients actually includes all of them like the carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins and minerals, right? So in our diet we should have all these nutrients properly, okay, in adequate amount, right? Clear, eh? Now, so we have to take the proper balanced diet and mental a personal hygiene. So cleanliness also a very important thing which we should maintain. We will stay healthy, right? And we should take undertake physical exercise regularly. I know that during this lockdown situation for this coronavirus, you were not going out, you were not going to the school, you were not going to the playground, and you were totally stuck within the home, right? So I will suggest you please do certain yoga or freehand exercise so that all the functioning of the body, all the functioning of all the organs in our body will be maintained properly. Right? So please do the physical exercise regularly, which is very much needed for all the age groups, definitely, but very much needed basically for the adolescents. Okay, if you have any sort of deficiency or any sort of problem now, any health issues now, then it will be continued throughout the life, right? So this is the main reason, this is the main thing which we have to maintain to keep our body healthy. Now, what are the nutritional needs of this adolescent? What type of nutrition should be taken by the adolescents? I know that you already like like to eat the junk foods, mainly the oil, the different fries or pizza, burger, but please, I will tell you, I'll suggest you don't eat those food every day. Okay, those are not at all good for our health. This junk food will not give you the proper nutrition. So if you have this type of junk food, you can take like once in a month or so, okay, or twice in a month, not more than that. Please try to maintain a proper balanced diet, which is very much mandatory in this age group, right? Because in the adolescence it is the stage of the rapid growth and development. So all type of physical growth and development, mental growth and development, emotional, intellectual, everything, psychological, this all the different development takes place during this stage, right? And that is why balanced diet is very much mandatory. Okay, so please have more and more fruits and vegetables. Okay, in this period, definitely, I'll suggest to take all the nutrients in a proper, adequate manner. And this is the balanced diet, that is the meal, which should contain all the proper nutrients, whether it is a protein, carbohydrate, fat, vitamins, and minerals in a proper amount in the diet. So, if we can maintain this balanced diet, we will be more physically fit, right? Okay, now coming to the diet which is maintained in Indian meals. Okay, so you already know that our Indian meal is totally a mixture of a balanced diet. Why? Because we generally eat the roti or rice, from where we mainly get the carbohydrate. Then from the dal we get, or the pulses, the various type of pulses, we get the protein. And from the vegetables we get the vitamins and minerals. So, together, if we eat all these things every day, then we will be able to maintain a proper balanced diet. Okay, so avoid the oily food and please maintain a proper balanced diet. And if you just think about only one food having all these properties or all these nutrients, we can go for the milk. So, milk is a balanced food as it have all the different nutrients within it. So all the different nutrients means it have the sugar or the carbohydrate, it has the protein, definitely it has the vitamin. Okay, the vitamin A, vitamin D, which is present in the milk, as well as it is having the different minerals like the calcium. Okay, so all of the different nutrients are present exactly in the milk, so we can say that the milk is a complete food. Fine. Now we have to take more and more fruits also, which is a very good source of nourishment as well as a very good source of the vitamins and minerals. So at least one or two fruits try to take each day, okay, along with your meal. And also the mother's milk is very much important for the babies or the infants, which give all the proper nutrients as well as they give the proper uh, nourishment or the resistance power, the immunity power which we get first is from the mother's milk, right? So this is also very much important. So we should avoid eating the packed chips, as I've already said, the junk food. We should not eat the teen snacks. These are not having the adequate amount of nutritional value. So they generally have the fat most of the time, and if we take every day again and again, we can become obese, right? So it can lead to the obesity. So these are the different things which we can have, right? These are the different food which we should avoid, right? Now coming to the personal hygiene, which is also very much important in the adolescence period, to be very specific, that everyone should have a bath at least once every day, as the increased activity of the sweat gland makes our body smelly. So at least once or twice please take bath properly so that our body will not stink. Then the girls should take the spatial care mainly in case of the menstrual flow or the menstrual cycle. Okay, the menstruation period, they should take care of themselves and take the proper cleanliness should be maintained at this time. And if not, then what will happen, the various types of bacterial infection may occur if cleanliness is not maintained, and it can lead to the various types of diseases, right? And already I have said that the physical exercise is also very much necessary for our body. I have already told you to please do some free hand exercise or yoga when you were at home during this lockdown period. And definitely you can maintain the social distance and go out for walking, playing, taking the fresh air, which is very much important for our body to stay fit and stay healthy, right? So these are the things which we should mainly follow. And another very important thing, that we should say no to the drugs, so they ruin the health and happiness. So this is a very important message to all of you, that during this adolescence period, due to the peer pressure or the different friend circle, like there is a tendency of getting into the addiction of the various types of bad habits, we can see, like the smoking, drinking, and taking the drugs. So please say no to all these things, because it can ruin the health and happiness of your life, right? So we are blessed that we have got the beautiful life, so we have to maintain. If we can maintain these small things now, we will definitely have a beautiful life, right? Okay. Now, I guess you have already enjoyed and you have already understood whatever we have studied. So, quickly tell me the answers. Which hormone is responsible for the normal growth of the human being? Yes. Anybody? Which hormone is responsible for the normal growth of the human being? It is the growth hormone, right? The growth hormone, which is secreted from the pituitary gland, right? Which help our body to grow properly. Coming to the second question, what causes the goiter in a person? Yes, what causes goiter? The less secretion of the thyroxine hormone, right? Lack of thyroxine from the thyroid gland can cause the goiter in a person. Now, quickly, let us move on to the third case study based question. Sam and Sia were the classmates since childhood. When Sia became 11 years old, she developed a little swelling on her neck. So she visited the doctor, who started medication for her. After a few years, Sam also developed a slight protrusion, right? So he got also worried and went to the doctor. But the doctor assured him that it was a normal feature for the boys while they are growing up. Can you think of any reason for the difference in the diagnosis? Yes. Why is it normal for the boys? Any idea? Because it is having the Adam's apple, means the growth of the larynx in case of the boys, but in case of the girl the diagnosis is different, because it was actually due to the less secretion of the thyroxine. So the swelling of the neck in Sia is due to the insufficient production of the thyroxine, and it results in goiter. But in case of the Sam's throat, the enlargement is due to the enlargement of the larynx or the voice box, which we call as the Adam's apple. Okay, so that is why the diagnosis is different in both the cases. Okay, now coming to the different facts. So both the men and women need estrogen and testosterone, which you already know, and it is common for the people to think that the estrogen is the female hormone and testosterone is the male hormone. However, both the male and female make this hormone, and they are essential to the health. Fine. Now, the women are not exactly the hormonal when they are on their periods, means during the menstrual cycle, or we can say during the period of menstruation, they are not actually hormonal. Fine. So these are the different facts. Please keep it in mind. So we have already covered the whole chapter. Okay. So today, in today's session, mainly we have discussed about the various other hormones other than the sex hormones. So we have studied about the thyroxine, the insulin, and adrenaline, and also the growth hormone. Okay, and all the different types of hormones which are secreted from the anterior pituitary gland. Then we have studied about the different hormones in some other animals, like in case of the frog and the insects. And also we have studied about the reproductive health, how to maintain a proper reproductive health starting from the adolescence. Right. So this is all about today's session, and I hope you have enjoyed the session and you have already understood whatever we have discussed. So we will again meet with a new chapter in the next session. So please, I'm reminding you, what you have to do is please subscribe our channel, press the bell icon, and never miss any of the updates of the upcoming Swiflearn classes. So stay with Swiflearn, learn with Swiflearn, and like, comment, and share with your friends and family members. So please stay with us. We will again meet in the next session. So till then, bye bye. Take care.